Huh?
Now that I've spent nearly 3 weeks with Dynasty Warriors Origins, I can finally sit down and write my thoughts about this. So today, I wanted to really speak on why I believe that this game is absolutely what Koei needed to get a once genre maker series back on top. For years, it's been sad to see a franchise I grew up with, loving it, and it's barely able to hold on to any relevance these days. So today, I want to sit back and just talk to you about Dynasty Warriors Origins and why I think it made me fall back in love with this series. In my ranking video, I discussed my ups and downs with the series, from loving Dynasty Warriors 3, 4, and especially 5, to even enjoying 8 quite a bit. But even though I did have a good time with something like Dynasty Warriors 8, there's 2 things I cannot stress enough. I liked it as a fan of the series for many, many years. Just like almost any Dynasty Warriors games, it just harkens back to a simpler time in my life, and I get enjoyment out of a solid battle system. But more so, Dynasty Warriors 8 came out in 2013. We're talking about 12 years ago at the time of this video. So after the crashing failure that was Dynasty Warriors 9, Omega Force really had 2 options. They can keep producing subpar products and maybe make a game that die-hard fans would enjoy, like me, or go back to the drawing board and start fresh. Get new fans and people who enjoyed the series a long time ago to come back as well. They apparently scrapped Dynasty Warriors 10 from the interviews I could find online, and they went back to Dynasty Warriors Origins. Dynasty Warriors Origin is, well, you guessed it, an origin story. This sets the stage for the huge war, and you play as a guardian of peace, fighting to fix the problems in the country, and eventually having to take a side with the family that you find is fit to rule these lands. It's a simple enough story filled with so much history and political depth that I have always been a fan of the Romance of the Three Kingdoms. But I will say this is the first time in a long time that I was invested in the characters that Dynasty Warriors was putting forth. And so that was a nice big surprise for me. Basically what happened here is they scrapped the over-the-top characters, ones who, create lightning bolts out of their hands and huge hair that rivals Super Saiyan 3 level, and instead gave us more grounded characters. It's not to say that we don't have some crazy designs in here, but nothing like the past games. And it's just so much stronger for it, because that's the vibe that they're going for in this title. This felt a lot more in line with maybe the first original titles in terms of the visual cues they went with, on top of having the battlefield look like war. This is the huge improvement that came with the graphics, which finally makes you feel like you're fighting in a war and you're fighting for the life and the life of the people around you. But even more so is the gameplay, which focuses on this counter system while beating down generals and taking over areas and making sure to keep your generals safe. The overall flow of the battle can change quick if an enemy gangs up on you and there's too many generals, leaving you to have to either die or flee, or the morale shall drop if they kill your generals, and the other side is tricking your enemies, gaining all these small bases and then charging ahead. So it's a lot of building a war momentum to push back on your enemies, and that is something that I don't think I've seen in a long time in this franchise. It just kind of gives you this absolute domination feel when you actually beat the enemy, and it's kind of like maybe an orgasm in that instant, or you can call it a victory, whatever one or both, who knows. I enjoy both, so I'm gonna go with both. But the point is that the game makes you feel like you're winning a war for once in its entire franchise for me, or at least it's been years. See, the combat takes what worked in older titles. It gives you these large battles with hundreds of thousands of soldiers fighting against you, but you can easily dispatch most of these people with a couple of lethal hits or combos. The real challenge comes from the generals, who can put up a fight, either by using special moves or ganging up on you and hitting you from all sides, leaving you sometimes to have to retreat or keep countering, or use everything you have to dodge to change the tide of battle. The actual combat relies a lot on you timing your counters, blocks, and dodges, and giving it back to the enemy as quick as possible before they come after you. But this isn't to say that everything works in this new title. Some things I personally would have liked better is a better overworld map being more useful and fun to explore instead of just going from point A to point B for a fight. I also think the main character feels so lifeless in an otherwise very lively cast. And of course, the main foundation of the gameplay consists of you beating the living shit out of mindless soldiers, so if that doesn't sound fun to you, maybe this isn't for you. But as an OG fan, as someone who has played every single title for hours upon hours, I could not be happier with this title. From the fantastic production quality, the big upgrade in the story presentation, the combat, the best the series has ever seen in my opinion. This is easily an 8.5, or even as a fan who's been waiting for something like this for years, I would give it a personal 9 out of 10. I think it's actually a strong contender, even for Game of the Year in a pretty busy year for me. With sales over 500,000 in its first week, I'd expect this grand success that Koei needed to know where the series should head in next. The momentum is now on for this company to continue its success and keep making great titles again instead of just subpar, okay titles. Let's hope they keep doing it. If you like this video, please hit that like button. If you love this video, hit the subscribe button because I got a lot more videos like this and more nerdy stuff coming out. And I would love to see if you played Dynasty Warriors Origins, what you thought of this title. Please put your thoughts below. I love talking about this game. Even if you dislike it, I would love to see why you disliked it. For me, this is easily the game that saved an entire franchise in one fucking game, and with its momentum could create the franchise that I loved growing up with again and making me come back for more and more and more with a big ass smile on my face. Let me know. So let me know below what your thoughts are. Have a good one, guys.